the winner's match. So the winner of this match will move on. This is game 1, so 0-0. In the top right of Overgrowth is our green Protoss, InkedWarrior. Opening exactly the same way we saw him in the last game if you were watching. He has already scouted in the bottom left our purple Zerg, another teamless Zerg, DarkArchon. He's got his pool down, kind of a more standard ZVP opening than we saw from Emergence. No gas first, fast speed shenanigans. Trying to get that hatch down with InkedWarrior, pulling out that 70 APM to block that for a little bit. Nice. DarkArchon does get that down right as the pool finishes, and 2 Zerglings on the way. Gonna push away that probe. Oh, but we got a pylon down behind the minerals. Forge is up and running. And InkedWarrior is gonna start a pylon, or photon cannon and gateway at home, rather than commit extra hard to this cannon rush. But DarkArchon does not see this yet. That Overlord is going to spot it first, probably. Here comes the Zerglings. He knows what's up. He's going to need to block off the photon cannon. That's not going to finish with the 2 Lings on there. He might be able to squeeze another cannon behind that. But if he manages to get a cannon up behind pylons, but he's not quick enough on the trigger there. The Zerglings are going to start working on that photon cannon immediately. And that photon cannon rush is done. 2 Lings is usually not enough to do that. If InkedWarrior had managed to block those that cannon in totally with pylons, I think we would have had to cancel that hatch. And that hatch was really far along, so that would have been a real bummer for DarkArchon. But he is safe and sound and happy. InkedWarrior going for Cybernetics Core in his wall this time. Not seeing too much aggression coming out of DarkArchon. Still no gas for DarkArchon, so he's just going to be building mostly drones right now. And if you are no stranger to StarCraft, you are no stranger to Zergs building mostly drones at the beginning of his EVP. I've got 2 more queens on the way, so that's going to be his main form of defense for right now. Not going to rely on Lings from any shenanigans, but he's about to run over and see the wall in the natural InkedWarrior and see that there are no shenanigans currently brewing. Although the warp gate gets started, and that is the main ingredient. See where InkedWarrior goes with this. He's still probing up his main. He's got 2 probes in each gas. Last game we saw him take 4 gas eventually, but he committed to the gas immediately with 6 probes in gas. So not entirely sure what he's planning here. He does wear proudly the fact that he's on a very high APM player. So I think we can take that into consideration. It's not going to be most likely a blink all in or something like that, even though this semi-gas setup, he just went into full gas here. Stargate right behind the natural there for him. His warp gate is halfway done. See if he adds more warp gates. This is about the time you want to start doing that to have him finish up in time with warp gate, but with his probe number lacking like it is, I'm not sure he's going to be able to even pull off something like that if he wanted to. Not sure what he's going to be building on the Stargate. I'd like to see an Oracle followed by some Void Rays, I think is what I'm going to see out of InkedWarrior, judging by the kind of player he is. But I'm not totally sure. DarkArchon actually really oversaturating his main base with drones. Got 6 too many in there. And that would put him over the edge on his natural. But that's basically 6 drones that they aren't wasted, but they're not quite as useful as they would be down in the natural. And right now in this Zerg metagame in ZVP, I mean right now meaning in this particular game, there they come the drones. You want your economy to be flourishing and charging ahead as much as possible. You don't want to let yourself slip, because right now that is the Zerg advantage. It's not that they have more units than anyone else right now. Like right now he just wants drones, 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 and economy, economy, economy. And that kind of move will hurt him. But that 3rd hatchery is going to be finished up, and he should have enough drones to saturate that almost immediately, but he's not building any currently. He's massively supply locked is why. Probably see him. There's the Void Ray. Straight after the Oracle. Called it. That's because I am a super amazing caster, guys. Don't ever let yourself think that that's because I'm smart or anything. Like I'm just a genius. I'm not just smart. Spore Crawler just now started in the natural, but with 3 queens on the prowl, and he doesn't even pick up, he picks up 1 drone. 1 lonely drone for 1 lonely Oracle. That is not the ratio you want as a Protoss player. You want way, 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 way more. But DarkArchon is very safe from this. He doesn't even get a Spore in the main, actually. He just gets 1 reactively in the natural. Going straight for Hydra and double Evo. Not even getting a Roach Warren. So, not sure if InkedWarrior is going to be able to identify that and hit any kind of timing. His gas is really far behind because he's just been staying on those 2 geysers and just warped in a bunch of stalkers. So he can't even afford to build a second Void Ray. And that first Void Ray is just kind of chillaxed in there right above the Stargate, neglected. And DarkArchon able to saturate his 3rd base immediately, like a good Zerg should. Interested to see if he goes for melee or ranged. Guessing ranged if he wants to commit to the Hydras. Hopefully he doesn't pull an IA and forget his Hydra speed. Not sure how many of you were watching WCS Premier League tonight, but Chinese Zerg IA built about 45 Hydralisks before getting Hydra speed. It was kind of embarrassing for a Premier League player, but it did end up costing him a game, and that's actually against Showtime. But there's InkedWarrior following my advice, getting Colossus tech right after he gets his Robo. He recognizes the need to have splash in these games. 2 Zerglings kind of poking away at this. They aren't going to get absolutely nothing done when a Void Ray and some Zealots come to rain on their parade. Especially with +1 attack, Zealots is done, so they're just going to wreck these Zerglings. +1 ranged attack is started for our Zerg player, DarkArchon. That the 5th and 6th gases are not taken, which typically to support heavy Hydra production, you want, there they are. You want those a little bit faster though. So you can just be pumping Hydras and Hydras and Hydras and Hydras. But if you're going to be spending a decent amount of that larva on Lings, that little bit of a late gas is fine. And it's not going to hold them back too far. InkedWarrior establishing this 3rd a little more safely with 3 gateways in front of a photon cannon. He's going to be nice and safe for a long time. Until the Hydras come out in force is really when this is going to start to be a nightmare for him. And 10 are on the way right now with the Infestation Pit just finishing up. Not sure if he's going to go straight to Hive. Doesn't have the, excuse me, that's InkedWarrior doesn't have the gas to go to Hive, but he is also Protoss, just kind of a bigger barrier. Curious to see what DarkArchon wants to do. He's got 2,500 minerals and 1,000 gas right now. He kind of would prefer that to just be all in Hydras and Lings. 22 Lings started now, but that's barely a dent in his bank. He needs to throw down a macro hatch as soon as possible. These Hydras do not have speed yet, and I hope I didn't jinx him, telling him not to get Hydra speed. These Zerglings moving in on the 3rd base, taking out Zealots down on the ground. Those 2 Voiders are going to tickle them away. Zerglings are very ticklish, so they aren't going to do that until they get the support from the big brother Hydralisk, who murder these Void Rays as the Zerglings run in and trade decently against these Zealots that are move commanded. Oh, they are getting wrecked. And these Zerglings are now at +1 armor, so the Zealots aren't quite canceling them out quite as much. Hydra's move commanding in turn against the Zealots. That's not exactly what you want, but another reinforcement wave of Zerglings going to really help out against these Stalkers and 2 Immortals, but a clutch force field there blocking off those Stalkers and Immortals working on the Zerglings. This 3rd is not going to go down though. They do pick up a Pylon and cancel a bunch of Warpins, but with extended Thermal Lance, 3 seconds from finishing, InkedWarrior is looking to maintain until he moves out and gets totally surrounded. And he doesn't react even close to in time to save that sentry. 2 force fields on that sentry would have really helped this here, but the Zerglings absolutely murder that force, and that is the bulk of InkedWarrior's force here. He's only got 5 Zealots and an Oracle left. A Colossus is about to pop, warping a bunch of Stalkers here. That's going to help losing a gateway, but he is losing control of this right now until the Hydras move in and overextend. DarkArchon's moving in with a bunch of reinforcements, but his bank continues to climb. He is not spending his money very well. He doesn't have enough larva to. He needs like 2 macro hatches at this point. Like his injects have been decent. Energy on his queens is pretty high, but he clearly needs to get more larva out faster. The Oracle proving itself useful, denying the 4th hatch from going down. And I'm not sure when DarkArchon's going to react to that. I don't see another drone on the way yet. Oh, that was just moving to the third. Yeah, he's not going to take that fourth. I'm not sure if he's noticed that yet, if he has any plans to clean it up. He's got some Hydras out. His army hasn't reacted to that Oracle. So that Oracle, I guess, just gets to deny the fourth for like 3 minutes. That's cool. DarkArchon does see indeed that InkedWarrior does not take his fourth at the forward base or the gold. The back corner base is still free. But InkedWarrior doing a little bit better, spending his money. Not stellar from him him either, but with 2 more gateways on the way, that'll help. He's got +2 armor en route as well. I'd love to see just another forge out of him if he wants to be getting armor upgrades. I mean, he has the money to do it right now. Typically, you don't go double forge in PvZ. You just want attack upgrades and force fields. But he doesn't have any sentries right now, so he's not going to have any force fields, so that armor is actually going to be decently useful. But against the Locusts, they're going to be coming from the Swarm hosts that DarkArchon's planning on making here shortly. Armor's not going to be particularly useful. I mean, you need more Colossus, Storm, these sorts of things that can fight long-term and help you kind of snowball through the Swarm hosts that are imminent here, rather than armor, which just kind of helps a little bit in each fight, but eventually your units will get whittled away by the free Locust. As much as some of us hate that fact. But DarkArchon feeling pretty comfortable at about 173 supply right now, moving out. He's going to try and deny this fourth base, perfectly well timed, right as InkedWarrior plans on taking it. Throwing down the ghosted Nexus there. This probe is on the way. And that's going to be really nice if he times this right and manages to snipe it. His fourth is down successfully at this point. And InkedWarrior's planting his fourth right now. Got Nexus, Pylon, and 2 assimilators queued up here. And his army is much smaller than DarkArchon's. So he's down about 15 supply, but with an observer with his army, these Swarm hosts do not have the numbers to hold this back by themselves, and they're just killed. Well, some of us wish that's how all Swarm host games ended up. Just Swarm hosts get built, Swarm hosts die. But there is a giant Hydra force absolutely ravaging this third base. They're going to take down that Nexus. Maybe Zerglings continue to work on that. The Colossus got isolated and separated from this army, though. The Hydra's chasing. They got speed now, but these Colossus are going to be able to run away and hit all this stuff. Charge lots coming in from behind. And holding in these Hydras, they might be able to break out. Yeah, they're going to be safe. But these Hydras are going to run away. Run away Hydras. But now they're sandwiched between the army. This misclick by InkedWarrior is actually working out in his favor. He sandwiches and cleans up all the Hydras, and that's GG. Wow. He goes from being down 20 supply to picking off a bunch of free Swarm hosts to